So this is a picture of my little dog Toby. He's a Shih Tzu, and when you look at this picture, you think cute, sweet, innocent, and he's all those things. But as a pet owner, we tend to anthropomorphize our pets like they're children, and every now and then that veil falls off, and you see the inner animal or the inner savage, if you will. And it's one of those times that led to this intensely embarrassing moment for me and my wife. Toby was a puppy. He was about 6 months old, and he hadn't been neutered yet. And I'd never owned a dog before, and I guess I found out neutering was this kind of issue. Should we get him neutered? Should we not get him neutered? And we took him to some Shih Tzu meetup, and we met this little Shih Tzu named Peanut who had not been neutered, and was older and was really aggressive. And we found out that the husband wouldn't let the wife neuter him. And I didn't understand. It's like, I guess this, the balls on this 12-pound Shih Tzu somehow was an expression of his masculinity or something. So anyway, we lived in a condo, and there was another dog in our condo named Fraser, who was this tiny little schnoodle, which is a cross between a schnauzer and a poodle. And he's this really cute little black fluff ball. And Fraser was kind of like this sort of dandy. Like he wore these alpaca Peruvian sweaters, and he had better wardrobe than I did then and do now. If he was a person, he'd be wearing like an ascot tie and a monocle and smoking a pipe. And so for some reason, Toby had this inexplicable obsession with Fraser. I don't know if it was sexual or a dominance thing. And every time he saw Fraser, he'd run up to him and try to hump him. And we'd have to pull him away. And so one day, Fraser's owner announced that he was holding a 1-year birthday party for Fraser, and he invited all the dog owners to go to this party. So we're like, okay, we're gonna go, and we're talking to Toby, and so this is Fraser's special day. You need to behave yourself, and he's looking at us like, oh sure, like this, and so we go, and Fraser's owner had spared no expense. I mean, he had dog cookies and party favors, and he had this custom-made cake made out of peanut butter, and so everything's going okay, and at some point, I guess Fraser got a little parched because he was eating all this cake, and he was thirsty. So he goes to his water bowl, and as the birthday boy is taking a drink out of his birthday bowl of water, Toby sneaks up behind him, and as Fraser's drinking, mounts him from the back, and just starts going at it. And his tongue's hanging out, his eyes are bugging out, and everybody's sort of looking on, sort of horrified. And we're like, Toby, no. And we pull him away, and we pull him away, and I don't want to get too graphic about it, but he's kind of aroused. And this woman in our building, who's a family therapist, a professional family therapist, says to us, "Your dog is very sexual." And we're like, really? He's a dog. He's an animal. And she says it in this very judgmental, sort of, disapproving way, as if, Toby grew up in this home where something very wrong was going on that was conducive to, raising a juvie sex offender or something, like it's our fault. And then to deepen the humiliation, Fraser's owner picks up Fraser and inspects him, sort of in front of everybody, and says, "Oh, I don't see any signs of penetration." It's like half joking, but it's really 60% not joking, 40% joking. And then someone else says, "You really should neuter your dog." And we're like, okay, that's a fair point. So very shortly after that, we did take him to the vet, got him neutered. I believe the clinical term is double nutectomy. And ever since then, he's been a model citizen. I mean, he's visited nursing homes. He was in a tutoring program for elementary school kids. He's visiting patients at St. Elizabeth's. I guess it's community service. And if I realize in telling this that if Toby's most embarrassing moment in his life would be knowing that I told this story in public, except for the fact that he's a dog and he doesn't care. And I know that when I come home tonight, as I come home every night, he will greet me like this. Thank you.